Here, is that better for you, huh? Is that better? What?
I wanna be the best in the game. Invest
We
in
want
my
to this
name. Check
microphone.
no restraints. I'm obsessed with the pain. I
God
ingest, I
damn it.
retain, assess and I change. Possessed by the thought I'll be free one day from society's restraints. Money, clout, and fame, mud, disease, a plague. We all love to hate, have to play the game, have to make a name. All our insecurities are on display. This is war with the enemy. Think that it was meant to be. Living in a time where disease is on every screen. I won't let them fester me. I know most are festering. Negativity is a plague for the mentally weak. No mercy, all I got is working. Never stop searching, never quench the thirsty. I'm toxic and psychotic with this logic, you can't stop it. It's been chronic since I was a boy, so neurotic and chaotic. Go! To last with the webs I'm weaving, I could change the past with all I'm achieving. Got my foot on gas, never stop competing. If you break like glass, then this life's gonna eat 'em. Make mistakes real fast, then you learn how to beat 'em. If you take off the cast, you can see all the healing. If the pain's in the past, move on from the grave and put your foot on the gas. No, never stop competing, yeah. I've been doing this, I'm on it. I just wanna be iconic. Sipping on a gin and tonic, got me going off when I'm on this topic, yeah. If I ever play, I want it. You know that I'm always honest. Stay away from those who are toxic. Keep them out your face, no way, you don't want them, yeah. Don't try to drain my energy. The enemy is everything. It's mentally, unhealthily, spreading like a rare disease. But I won't let it get to me. I don't need your therapy. I can leave a legacy of leading by intensity. Come on, we can fight this. Freedom is priceless. Spread just like a virus. Living in a crisis. Do you feel courageous? Do you seek greatness? Trust me, you can take it. Go on and take your aim. Yeah. Built to last with the webs I'm weaving. I could change the past with all I'm achieving. Got my foot on gas, never stop competing. If you break like glass, then this life's gonna.
It's your boy Miguel Z with the Value of Wrestling New Japan Rebound Podcast. I've got a guest for you folks at StocktonCon.
What up, everybody? AJ Kirsch here, the voice and the host of StocktonCon. The value of wrestling is awesome, so subscribe on YouTube. Scan the QR code right here, now. Subscribe, check it out.
There we go.
You'll be glad you did.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, that's what. Hey, man, shout out to Value of Wrestling. I'm right here with the Big O's, San Jose. We gonna shut the shit down. Love and respect, all right? Value of Wrestling. Hello.
Man, thank you, brother.
This is the Value of Wrestling, the revolutionary force in wrestling podcasting.
Oh, if you didn't know, then I don't know what to tell you, because you should always know, because we always tell you before it happens, because we're always going to tell you when we're going to be here. We're going to be live right here on the Value Wrestling, right here on YouTube. This is your Monday Night Raw post-show review. We're going to break down everything that's gone down on Monday Night Raw. We're going to talk about it, la-di-da-di. We're going to get into it. We're going to get deep into it. All for Mr. Miguel Z, because he likes to get deep into things. But ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to my co-host. You know me. I'm the big time. I am that. And of course, along with me is my partner in this, Mr. Paulus Clarke. And of course, your New Japan Pro Wrestling expert, the one, the only, the man who can't wait to see Zack Knight team with his sister Saraya to take on Will Ospreay and Mercedes Moné so we can have Money is Ospreay. Moné is Ospreay. Moné is Ospreay. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Miguel Z. That's his dream match. Tony, if you're listening,
No, it is not. How dare you?
Book this
How
match.
dare you
Book
put that out
this
there?
match. Book this match.
Book it, Tony!
Don't book it, Tony, you mark.
And that's why he will book it. And anyways, welcome to the party. If you're here, join in the show, join in the conversation, drop your thoughts and conversations below. We're doing great stuff. We've had Tony Khan come on and talk to us. We've had Triple H come talk to us. We have Eric Bischoff. I'm still waiting for Mr. James E. Cornette to show up and have a lottie-dottie party with us. But if you want to talk, jump in the chat. Tell us what you think, how you feel about everything going down. I know some people are upset and depressed after last night that we got Double or Nothing, and then tonight, what a dismal Raw we got. Raw was so bad. I mean, after Double or Nothing, after that excellent spectacle of a great wrestling match that they call Anarchy in the Arena, I mean, how can WWE compete and they give us this crap? Yeah, no, shut your mouth, know your role, and get out of the way, because we're going to talk about it. This was a decent show. It's a pretty good show overall. A lot of great things did happen tonight. kind of a funky ending there at the end, depending on how you feel about it. And yeah, I mean, there's some reason to raise that, if that's the ending to this match, is it a shame? Because tonight might very well been Becky Lynch's last match in WWE. At least might be her last match for a while. Who knows what's going to happen? Will we see Becky Lynch in will we see Becky Lynch in AEW? Well, I'm here to tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get smart. Let's get intelligent. It's not going to happen. There will never be a Becky Lynch by name in AEW. Tell me when I'm telling lies. Now, we might see a Rebecca Quinn, or as my good friend here, Mr. Paulus Clarke, pointed out, an old favorite of somebody. Go ahead. I know you want to say it.
Well, you're talking about Rebecca Knox.
Yes.
But I was going to say, you never know if Rebecca decides to lynch someone.
She can lynch someone, but we're not going to get Becky Lynch by name in AEW. So everybody who's making all these posts that Becky Lynch is going to be all elite, can you at least get a little smart? Can you at least be a little intelligent and understand that you're not going to get that? Now, could Rebecca
is not in the IQ of the AEW fandom, folks?
Could Rebecca Quinn
Why
wind
you
up?
gotta attack a whole fandom?
Because I can. Because I can.
Because they attacked him last night, and he's still got his feelings hurt. He's up in the feels. I think that's how the kids put it these days. They're up in the feels. I'm in my feels.
I got blocked by them salty ass tampon bucks, and it was great.
What does that have to do with the rest of the audience?
Because it's their number one tag team. They will go to bat and.
Tony, can you talk to Matthew and Nicholas, please? I need a favor. Matthew and Nicholas, I need a favor from you. Can you unblock Mr. Z? Because now you've sent him on this glorious road of, victorious. I mean, you blocked me, you blocked Mr. Clarke. We took our loons, we licked them, we laughed about it, we had a good time. But this man is not going to shut up. It don't matter what show we're going to do. He's going to remind everybody and the whole world that he got blocked by the Young Bucks. The sad thing, he just wasn't
Took him long enough.
He just wasn't first.
I wanted to be first, damn it. Instead, I got nasty thirds, but it's all good.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been
It's not even sloppy seconds.
This has been
nasty.
This is the Value Wrestling. We thank you for joining us. We'll see you on the next show because now we're done. Yeah. Oh boy. We have fun here. If you don't know, we're here to have fun.
If you really tune in when we first start, apparently I'm the one with the mouth.
Yeah, I don't get going until we click live, and then I'm off the rail.
Anyways,
Mr. Clarke, he started before the show.
We get a whole recap of everything.
How about that Monday Night Raw?
That's what I was trying to get to. We had a recap to open Raw. It was a whole recap of King and Queen of the Ring. We got all the gritty details. So if you didn't watch the premium live event on your Peacock and not watch it on Deonna Purrazzo, I know she showed up as a Peacock, but no, there's a service called Peacock. It didn't happen on Deonna Purrazzo. So let's get that clear. And Dalton Castle was nowhere near any of it. So yes, I know Mr. Clarke is deep in thought now about watching something on a Peacock, but I'm going to keep it PG here.
That's all bad. Oh,
anyways, once we get the recap of everything, pretty much it's like you almost didn't need to watch the show because they gave it to you all in this recap. We got Ludwig Kaiser in the middle of the ring, and he introduces us to the King of the Ring, Gunther. Cole expresses that the results in the finale, acknowledging that Orton's shoulders was up, but it doesn't matter. And if you don't know, there was a video that came out after the show where Triple H acknowledged it and said the ref's decision's final, and that's what we're going to live with. But once Randy does heal up, I think we're going to get to see this match run back. Not for the King of the Ring title, but we're going to get this match to run back. And that was exactly what Triple H said. They're going to let Orton heal up. So definitely somewhere down the road, somewhere in time, somewhere in the future, we will see that match. I see we're hiccuping a little bit, but forgive us. We will probably get back into tangent here in a minute. So just bear with us as we push through. Ludwig Kaiser's in the ring. Gunther comes out. Gunther wants to talk about Damian Priest, saying he stepped up after Rhea left, and he admires that. The King of the Ring tournament lacked prestige, and he fixed that. The World Championship is lacking prestige too, and he will rectify that. This brings out Priest, who takes offense, comes out to tell Gunther that he didn't even really win, considering Orton's shoulders was up. But that's how the Money in the Bank works. Does Gunther not know how that works? Gunther says he's focused on the facts. The facts are he is the king of the ring, and he is still champ at SummerSlam. He'll challenge for the title. And as far as teaching him about business, he's waiting for someone to teach him anything after the belt, because so far no one has. Priest tells Gunther he respects him, what he does in the ring and the IC title reign, but as world champion, what could Gunther teach him that he doesn't already know? That's them two at SummerSlam. It'll be a great war. And then we get Drew McIntyre coming down to the ring. Drew McIntyre wants to talk to us. We get CM Punk chants immediately. Drew would like to address that quickly. He just quickly talks about if it wasn't for him, CM Punk wouldn't have anything to do, yada, yada, yada. And if he didn't injure Punk, he'd have screwed up. Drew said the highlights of his return, and then he said if he wouldn't have injured Punk, Punk would have screwed up and got fired by now. So Punk says, that he should thank Drew for still having a job was the scenario there. And so we're on fire. Anyways, hello, Gunther and Damien. He is Drew, and he'll be the champion in less than 3 weeks. Gunther takes this as a great time to leave the ring. Priest tells Drew he's not looking past him. He just knows what's going to happen. Drew says he's trying to help Priest. He wants the best version of himself. He spread too thin. He's telling Priest he spread too thin. Judgment Day is screwing up. Ever since the real leader got hurt, the group has gone to hell. Drew is here to help. He needs to focus on what's important, and that's the title. Drew would like to paint a picture. He drops the names of Wade Barrett, Fit Finlay, and the British Bulldog, and they've all won 0 world championships. He's the only one to win the world championship, and he's done it 3 times. He's going to do it for a 4th time, and he will do it again. Watch Drew's match against Roman. Those fans broke him. He talks about how the fans over in Wales broke Roman with their chants. Roman had it all. He had Roman in the place, and if it wasn't for Solo, he would have won that. He talks about Scotland. He gives us a geography lesson because they don't teach geography in America, which got him USA chants. And he goes, hey, it's just what I know from my experience, which was great. And he also admittedly says he's a U.S. citizen, so it's another great laugh with all this little joking around. So he tells us what Wales is. He tells us where Scotland is, where he's from, and builds up being the homeboy, where he's a psychopath. He's all these names, but in Scotland, he's just Drew because they're all the same. Priest laughs this off, wondering if this was really his game plan to get under his skin. The crowd is going to boo him. Oh, he's saying that the crowd booing him, that's really going to affect him. He's made a living out of proving people wrong, and this won't work. Want to talk about truce? Priest has a question for Drew. Your wife going to be there? What's her name? This gets Drew lit up. And Priest says he doesn't care. He just wanted to see if he could get under Drew's skin, and clearly he did. He wants to know if Priest is man enough to do something about it. And then suddenly here comes Braun Strowman out of nowhere because JD McDonough and Finn Balor were down there. This is setting up for Braun Strowman and JD McDonough's match. But this was the opening of the show. We had Gunther, we had Damien, they interacted. Then we have Drew McIntyre come down. I know there's one podcaster who had to get on Twitter and run his rambling math about why do we have Priest and Gunther when Damien is supposed to be facing Drew before that? Why are we jumping the gun? And I'm kind of like, because he won the King of the Ring, and why not push the storyline? And I'm telling you what's going to happen. There's no other way to do this story. How do you keep Drew strong? CM Punk's going to cost Drew the title. I said this, I think, last night or the other night. Punk's going to wind up in Scotland, probably by accident, on Twitter, like, oh, I don't know how I got here. I guess I'm here. I hear there's a wrestling match in town. He's going to do his Punk thing. He's going to show up. And Drew's going to be in this match, and at some point, Drew's going to look like he's about to take it from Damien, and CM Punk's going to cost him. CM Punk's going to get booed out of Scotland, but then he's going to come back to the United States and get cheered as a hero, and this is going to piss off Drew. This is going to be Sean Brett-esque story, Montreal screw job level type of things. Nobody's going to get screwed like that, but I'm just saying the crowd reaction is going to be amazing. With what they're about to build here. And then Damian Priest can go on to SummerSlam. They're showing you these things. They're teasing things. I don't see anything wrong with it. I know somebody thought it was weird. Why is Gunther in the ring with Damian Priest? It's like, because he's supposed to get a title shot at SummerSlam. I mean, that's, the world champion right now is Damian Priest, so I don't get why anybody's getting upset by it. This all made good sense to me. Gunther showing that he's king of the ring. He's focused on getting that world title. He knows he's sitting in the back seat to SummerSlam because he's got to wait for Damian Drew to have it out. So, I mean, we see it. Unpredictability is good, but a little bit of the path of seeing what's going to come. It's just we don't know exactly how all these pieces are going to play. But I promise you, I think Drew McIntyre is going to be strong, and you would want him to win in Scotland. But I think the way out of that is CM Punk screwing him, and CM Punk's going to get booed out of Scotland, and it's going to be one of the best pay-per-views.
And CM Punk won't mind because he loves trolling.
No, yes.
He's the If Metallica's the master of puppets, CM Punk is the master of trolling. Come on now.
No. This all made sense. This all worked out well. They're giving you lines. They're planning the story and building for SummerSlam while also keeping you fresh for in a couple weeks here for Clash at the Castle. But I think we all see what's coming.
Mm-hmm. It's just a fun story.
Yeah, it was a great moment. It got Gunther to build into seriousness. It had him interact with Damian. I know the people that were upset. Well, it's 3 heels. They're all heels. I'm like, they're all playing their role great. And Damian Priest is kind of an in-betweener more than this hardcore heel. Gunther is the super hardcore heel, but even Drew came out as more of a tweener. When he first came out, he was high-fiving the fans and cheering with them. And Drew's go into Scotland as the babyface. Priest will go in as the heel. CM Punk will go in and cause an interference. So, yeah, it's going to be fun stuff. So, having 3 heels in the ring.
I think sometimes some people are just too smart for their own good. Because in real life, everyone's the hero with their own story. Yes. So you have to take it from perspective of.
Well, and if we go back a few years, Redacted would have never had a heel versus heel in this moment. Or he definitely would have never put 3 heels in the ring together. I get that. So why are we getting mad when we're getting...
3.
Why are we getting mad when it's a little different? It's something we've never seen before, to see the heels kind of all having promos against one another. That these 3 characters are 3 of the biggest stars right now, and they're on the right pace. They're on the right pace. They're going in the right direction. This fits.
Absolutely.
Braun Strowman versus JD McDonough. What a good match this actually turned out to be. JD doing the great things of trying to avoid Braun, but actually trying to attack Braun and get the upper hand. Eventually, Carlito comes out to attack Braun from behind while the ref was distracted. Braun pulls him up, then drops him on the outside. JD tries to take advantage. Almost looked like he was going to get a win at a couple points tonight.
Yeah, I was like, damn.
You almost thought JD was going to get a win over Braun here. JD McDonough, so we don't get people confused, because there's another JD out there in the world people might praise and worship, but we won't get into that. I will keep my mouth. Anywho, JD McDonough in here with Braun Strowman. Eventually, he tries to go off the ropes for a move, but wraps him up into a power slam, and Braun Strowman gets the pin. 1, 2, 3. This match went 9 minutes, 26 seconds. It was a good match for what these two are going to do. This wasn't going to be your great, slobber knocker. This wasn't going to be your great banger of the night. This was a serviceable match that got Braun Strowman a win and put JD McDonough in the corner of where he is. Continues mostly the storyline for Judgment Day more than anything. So,
and JD McDonough has been used essentially as enhancement talent and moving the stories forward. But this was fun to watch.
Yes.
I mean, you can't get any higher praise than that, really.
No.
He plays the role of a stooge, and he plays it very well.
Yes. He's a part of the goof. He's part of the goof troop.
Yeah, the goof troop. Yeah.
Finn Balor, JD McDonough, and Carlito attack Braun, but he is able to send all 3 of them out of the ring. He holds his hand up high, and JD runs in with the chair and whacks him across the back, and Braun just kind of stands there like, what? What's that? It was like he got bit by a mosquito, and the crowd starts chanting, "You effed up, you effed up." Braun slowly turns and slaps the chair out of JD's hands. JD takes off running, and he runs out of the ring. Finn, and Carlito are now running to the back. Backstage, Kathy is with Liv Morgan. Asks Liv if she has remorse. Liv says no. She had no clue Dom would be there, but oh well. She says if she wants to hold the title proudly, she needs to beat Becky straight up, so she'll put the title on the line in her first ever steel cage match. The revenge tour isn't over. It's just getting started, and if you don't believe her, watch her.
Gladly.
We get a recap of Braun Breaker from last week and him spearing Ricochet. And back live, Ricochet is being checked on by medical. He says They say Ricochet is fine to compete, and Ricochet is happy about this because he wants Braun tonight. Adam Pearce is here and tells Ricochet that he is suspended, that he suspended Braun, and so he's not here. In comes Ilya Dragunov, who tells Ricochet thank you, and as soon as Ricochet is healed, they should go again. Ricochet says tonight he's been cleared and he's healed. Dragunov says he fights people and breaks people, but he doesn't fight broken people. Ricochet says he is money, and he has never been broke, and tells Pierce to make the match official. Pierce makes the match official. Dragunov in an interesting position here. There's shades of they may be taking him heel. There's shades of him being babyface. They're definitely kind of playing something interesting here with his badass mentality. Go ahead.
See, clearly you have not watched him on NXT. This was him just as a face, as a character. When he's talking about he breaks people in matches. He doesn't break broken people. This is his confidence. This has nothing to do with face or heel.
Yeah.
He was like this against Gunther. He was against this against everybody in NXT. And that's what I love about the current NXT call-ups, is that they're allowed to take those characters and bring them to the main roster.
Oh yeah, definitely makes it enjoyable because you're bringing some familiarity to the main roster fans, the fans that don't really watch NXT.
Mm-hmm.
So they can get as excited as those in Florida get when they see them.
Anyways,
one thing about Dragunov is he is very confident.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Even to
definitely.
the point there are points where you almost wonder if he's narcissistic at times.
Yeah.
He's a very confident character.
All right. From there, we get Ricochet versus Ilya Dragunov, and we get a good solid match here. I mean, Ricochet and Ilya, we've seen this before. They had a great match. This was a banger of a match. 3 stars. Okay, I would have said this is a 4-star match. This was definitely back and forth. Ricochet got recoil for recover for 2. Ricochet can't believe it. He pulls himself up, holds his ribs. He goes up top. Ilya's up. They smack to the mouth. He climbs. He grabs Ricochet. Ricochet with some elbows. Ilya hits his own headbutt from Ricochet. Ilya down on the mat. Ricochet back to the top rope and shooting star press. It hurts Ricochet. Ricochet stands, and out of nowhere, the only way to really end this match appropriately, out of nowhere with the best spear he's done on the main roster, at least, Braun Breaker speared the snot out of Ricochet, and this is the way I've been waiting for him to be presented. He needed to do a spear that looked good, and this was a good-looking spear tonight. He folded Ricochet in half. That's what I want to see. So Braun Breaker causes the DQ. This match went 10 minutes, 29 seconds. I think this is the only way, because I'm like, the one thing I had here, as this match continued to build and grow, you're like, I don't really want to see Ricochet lose. I don't really think Ilya needs to lose. Dragunov did not need to lose. You're looking at this going, bringing out Braun Breaker. Bringing out Braun Breaker was the right way to keep Ricochet and Dragunov looking very strong and good and having this amazing match. Of course, after the match, Ilya gets up and starts chopping Braun a few times. He ducks under one, then hits the ropes, and Braun hits another spear. Not as good as the spear he hit on Ricochet, but he did get a better spear. Adam Pearce runs down and yells at Braun, but Braun ignores him, smiling at the crowd. He leaves and walks up the ramp with Adam, still talking shit to him from behind. Braun finally stops, turns to stare at Pearce, and they keep walking. This was done perfectly. Ricochet and Dragunov are going to have some banger matches. These two just letting loose are great. I mean, if you want to have banger matches, there's banger matches for days. These two could wrestle every week, and I don't think people would necessarily get mad because it's just they're bringing it.
Forever.
I don't know comments from Mr. Z's favorite boy over in AEW, Mr. I Do the Grind, Will Ospreay, talking about how WWE is not using Ricochet properly. If this is giving WWE going, okay, we'll give you Ricochet, and if this is lit a fire under Ricochet to give his best work. And again, when you put somebody like Ricochet in with somebody like Dragunov, where these two guys have that magic chemistry that they gel and they just pop off one another, and it flows in a beautiful piece of artwork. You can't be mad. So
no, not at all.
No complaints.
Except my comment about Will Ospreay.
I got nothing.
Tony Khan.
He's like, Will who? Will what?
Monet is Ospreay. Monet is Ospreay.
Stop bringing it up.
I need to be a good boy today. I have had nothing today. I am sober as Jaybird, as I like to say.
Yeah, you did say something really. Oh yeah, you wanted to talk about Alpha Academy and something they like to do with whips and chains. That's what triggered all that to start off.
What are we? Are we on a
That's
song?
right. That's right. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, you did say something. You did open your mouth, insert foot, when you talked about Alpha Academy and their BSD
They
meeting.
started it.
Yeah,
They started it.
Yes.
We're not there yet, folks. We'll talk about it in a second. But when we get there, we'll talk about it.
Anyways, we come back to the show, and Pierce is still yelling at Braun backstage. Pierce walks away, and Kiana James is nearby. Pierce wants to head to the office because he needs a drink. I don't know what
This drinking on the job stuff is a little. What are we doing?
Yeah, Michael Cole was mad about Pierce drinking on the job. He wants to drink on the job. I'm kind of like, if you were going to do something with it, maybe to make sense, but it's like it's never really came to any fruition of anything.
It's supposed to just be that running gag.
Yeah.
You know.
Meanwhile, Kathy is attempting to get words with him, but he thinks it'll be better. She was there kind of doing a weird announcing thing, and then they walk off. Then we go to earlier today. The Miz and R-Truth rented out an ice cream truck for some reason. They're selling ice cream. And Miz asks R-Truth why he's dressed up like this. And the Truth tells him, you got to dress your color. And Miz goes, oh, I'm vanilla and you're... And R-Truth goes, strawberry. And Miz is like, but what? And he goes, what were you going to say? And then the New Day walk up and go, yeah, what were you going to say? And so we get this weird thing. The New Day want to know if the raffle's still going on for the title shot. The Miz says no. Truth says yes. Truth then says the truck is closed. So we get that weird segment. And then Karrion Kross comes walking up. Kofi tells him to just challenge the match already. Kross tells Woods no. He's here to help Woods. He needs to drop this New Day crap. Kofi has had his time in the sun. Watch AOP tonight and let Kross help him. Kross tells Kofi he can help him retire much quicker. Woods tells him they have AOP next week, so just wait. Kross is happy they want to do it the hard way. It was an interesting segment, and I think you have to really sit there and pay attention to what Kross is doing. He's trying to create dissension. Will he be able to break up New Day? Will he be able to cause a rift here? It could be very interesting because they did do some things where Kross was talking to Woods, but Kofi was kind of answering for Woods. Karrion did kind of point it out a little bit, like, hey, you know. So there's little seeds that if they do decide to pull a trigger on something with whatever's going on here, they're definitely showing some of the seeds where Kofi's outshined Xavier Woods. That, you know, Kofi's been a world champion, but Xavier Woods hasn't. You know, there's a lot of things that you can say that are definitely there if you wanted to see a rift. So I'm interested in seeing where this is going. What will happen when New Day takes on AOP next week? That should be interesting. That'll probably be, you know, AOP getting another win, and maybe a dissension or a start of a dissension with the New Day, which I guess at this point you can't be mad about it. I mean, what do you do with the New Day after all this time?
Yeah, that was going to be my question.
You know, so, I mean, if Xavier and Kofi go at it, what can I be mad about? And we know right now there is no real timeline, and we don't know if Big E can ever get back in the wrestling ring or if he's going to want to. I know some of his last comments, he was questioning even wanting to do it after everything. So we're still waiting. He's still recovering. And he's doing great on commentating on these free shows. And then if you put him and CM Punk, I just need a show with him and CM Punk. I think you can watch that for an hour. That would be pure entertainment. So we'll have to see. But I mean, splitting Xavier and Kofi, maybe it's time for them to build to a WrestleMania match. Kofi versus Xavier.
I don't know if I'd get excited enough for that.
If they built it
Go
right.
into a match, sure. I just don't know if WrestleMania is the place or not.
I would think that would be the only place they both want to do it because of the friendship. I think it's kind of like that brother versus brother type of mentality match. I think it'd be what they would want to build to. Could they build it earlier to like a SummerSlam? Possibly. Could it be happening somewhere else? I don't know. I figure WrestleMania, it may not be a marquee match, but I think they would build a match that would make sense. It just depends on how this all goes. We're just starting to get seeds.
Yeah, I believe in their talent that much, at least.
I got that, yeah.
So from there, we got the Authors of Pain versus the Creed brothers. And this was a decent, solid match. for what it was. It wasn't a long match. It wasn't anything special. They try for a Brutus Ball, but Scarlett attacks Ivy for the distraction. In comes Razor, and they hit an assisted power bomb called What a Rush and get the pin 1, 2, 3. This match went 2 minutes 55 seconds. And speaking of that, Xavier Woods did call AOP Razor and Toka from the last Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies, if you caught that little quib in there. AOP doing what they needed to do.
Hey, my roommate even caught it.
That's good.
Well, she was laughing her ass off.
This was a good little match for what it was. The Creed's getting hit here. I know people are going to be like, oh, well, they just let AOP run them over. AOP needs to run over somebody like the Creeds to be looked at as this tag team that's coming back to be dominant. So, I'm not complaining here. I'm waiting to see what the Creed brothers do. I hope they continue to tease the Creed brothers being around Chad Gable. That's where I want to see Chad Gable. If Chad Gable, as we'll talk more later with what his storyline in the Alpha Academy is doing, if something happens there, I hope they align Chad Gable with the Creed brothers, make the Creed brothers heel. Anyways, we get Ramus. What?
Maybe
what?
Creed brothers heel. I don't know.
I think they'd be a great heel team. We need more heel tag teams. What tag teams are heel on the brand right now?
Good point. Good.
So
I can count them on one hand. Yeah, it's a good point. Good point.
I mean, I can say AOP, and then yes, you got the A-Town Down Under on SmackDown, but I'm just like, I don't know many heel tag teams right now, other than those. So I mean, the Creed brothers need heel. It's like I thought the Street Profits would go heel, but it doesn't look like that. DIY might go heel. They keep teasing a little bit of that, but I think the Creed brothers aligning themselves with Chad Gable and going heel would give them credibility, at least on the main roster.
Too. That is true. I mean, that could be the new team that he latches on to since his boys ain't doing too hot right now.
Yeah, we have to see where it all falls out. Anyways, Rey Mysterio gets a promo for Carlito saying he's jealous over Dragon Lee, made him bitter. His jealousy over Dragon Lee made him bitter. He attacks were huge mistakes. He knows maybe Judgment Day will accept him, but he won't. When they step in the ring tonight, he won't find an old friend across from him. You'll find out what happens when you cross the LWO, when you cross Rey Mysterio. And we have the original LWO member leader right here, Eddie Guerrero, in the LWO shirt.
Nice.
Yes, very nice. From there, we go backstage and we see Sheamus. Sheamus has finally returned. In the background behind Sheamus as he's walking up, there is JD and Liv talking to one another, and then Braun Strowman comes limping through the screen. Sheamus just kind of looks at him like, I ain't getting involved in that. And so we played a game of cat and mouse throughout the night where Braun Strowman was chasing JD McDonough throughout the arena, and they played in and out at different times with all of this.
Yeah.
Okay. We return to WWE's own version of Beaker heading to the ring. He says he's okay. Wow. This fool just called Sheamus Beaker. Beaker
from the kind of see it.
The Muppets.
Yeah, from the Muppets. I know.
I thought that Beaker was his cousin, according to episodes long ago.
Anyways, I don't know how you call Sheamus the WWE version of Beaker. Wow. Okay. Will you do that to his face? If you wrote these notes,
he wouldn't.
Would you say that to Sheamus?
No, he definitely wouldn't. He might get a reality check that it's not AEW.
He says he's out of breath walking out here. Then he asks Savannah what's the crack. He's amped up, but listening to all of us. How about the King of the Ring? He did enjoy it. Great matches. Nothing but banger after banger after banger. Sadly, no Sheamus because the little Ken doll Ludwig smashed his knee and took him out. He is bitter. No, that's the name of the game. But what he is salty about is Gunther's coat rack just talked shit while he was waiting at home, waiting to get cleared. So here's a message for Kaiser. He is back. Kaiser's on the screen. He says it's great to see him. He heard Sheamus complaining like usual, blaming Kaiser for his loss at the King of the Ring tournament, blaming Gunther because no one stood a chance anyways, especially not Sheamus. Sheamus doesn't tell Ludwig what to do. He does things on his own terms. Sheamus tells him to shut up, then asks Savannah if he should go get him. He leaves the ring and rushes to the back for some ass kickery. Kaiser's waiting for him and attacks him from behind the side. They fight each other all the way back outside in front of the fans. So good little moment. We're going to build to Sheamus versus Ludwig Kaiser. This is probably going to help Kaiser get a little more elevated. How far do we elevate Ludwig Kaiser? And when do we get Ludwig Kaiser against Gunther, maybe? It's going to be a while. Ludwig Kaiser's got to be taken from a mid-card, kind of jobber mid-card. I mean, he's there. He has the ability, but he needs a little more of that right rub to raise up that level.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a little bit before
definitely.
he can be on the level with Gunther. So I don't know. Maybe he can do some practice with his girlfriend, Tiffany. So as long as he doesn't get stuck on Tiffy time, he might be okay.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, man, come on.
Anyways, Becky Lynch is walking in the back. She walks in the Lyra Valkyrie's locker room and sits down and gives her a pep talk. And the key in this note was very much to know when to walk away, or when it's time to walk away, Becky says at the end of the statement. And if you don't know, the big news is Becky Lynch's contract ends on June 1st, which is this Saturday. So this very well could be Becky Lynch's last wrestling match in WWE. As we know it, as of right now, her current contract with WWE is up June 1st. Everybody's flipping out. People thinking she's going to go to AEW. Thinking she's going to show up on next week's Dynamite. I say, let's open the forbidden door. Let's do it. Let's do a chicanery. She can show up there and do a match, and then leave.
Do a Frankie Kazarian. Do a match, win, go back to WWE. That's what Frankie Kazarian did. He left TNA. He did a match. He went back to TNA.
Do the Dragon Lee thing. Go, okay, let me try it out. Let me taste it. Let me get a sample. Attack Mercedes Moné and take her out and then laugh at her and then just go back to WWE. Anyways, Lyra Valkyrie takes on Kairi Sane. I think this is a match a lot of people wish they could have been the referee and be right in the middle of it all. But a good solid match between these two women. They're building Lyra Valkyrie to be a total... Okay, well, I don't know what this person said. 1.5 stars on this match. This match went 3 minutes, 39 seconds, but I thought this was a great match. I know that it's kind of sad that Kairi Sane had to take a loss. But Kairi Sane comes off with the insane elbow type of thing. She flies into the elbow, but the knees are up, and Lyra hits with the crucifix pin for 1, 2, 3. Can't be mad. Thought it was a good match.
No.
For the 3 minute and 39 seconds it was, I don't think it was a 1.5 star match. I thought it was a fairly decent match for what it was. I don't know what anybody was expecting. Some like banger of like a 10 minute match, or what?
10 hour.
Jeez, man. It's not a marathon, man. Just let it go.
Forever. Clap, 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 clap.
No.
Anyways, backstage, Priest, Finn, and Carlito are talking. Priest tells Carlito to leave because he's asking what he's doing in Judgment Day. This is the clubhouse for Judgment Day. He asks where JD is, and JD finally shows up. Priest wonders if he has to take care of this on his own. Is it because JD is too busy talking to Liv? And then he asks where Dum Dum is. Here comes Dom. Priest calls him, I can't say it.
Sucio.
There you go.
Maybe. I can see that.
Yeah.
And then tells everyone to leave except for Dom. What is he doing? Dom says he messed up big time. He has talked to Rhea. She knows Dom was just trying to help. He told her he'll fix it. Priest tells him to do it so tonight. And now Mr. Miguel Z can fill in the less knowledgeable crowds why that was funny.
Calling him dirty in Spanish, but I mean, just the term alone is used in a funnier way amongst friends. That's why I got a kick out of it. Because he called him Mr. Sucio. He didn't just call him Sucio.
So.
Okay.
And now no, it's half the battle. Do, do, do. I guess I need to get that jingle or whatever it is when they do that.
No.
And play that whenever I say that.
Jingles.
Now you know. Why no more jingles? Well, what's your problem with jingles, my friend?
Oh no. Well, you don't
I
have
know.
a fired button anymore, so I mean that's a good thing.
You still got my beat button.
But the
I can
that's
censor you.
different.
For you. Anyways, Io
Wouldn't
Sky's
hurt my
backstage.
feelings.
Dakota Kai and Kairi Sane walk into the locker room. Io Sky sitting there. Io Sky stands up and snaps. She stomps her foot through the. She smashes the lap, stomps her foot through a table, tosses another table, starts going off in Japanese. Dakota Kai and Kairi Sane just stand there in complete shock. She walks out of the room screaming in Japanese. She's yelling down the hallway in Japanese. And nobody really says anything about it. Everybody's just like, okay. Like commentary was just like, oh. Dakota Kai and Kairi Sane were just kind of like, oh, okay.
Kairi Sane's the only one who understood what was being said.
And she still looked scared to death. She was like, uh-oh. This led us into Carlito versus Rey Mysterio. Carlito coming out. I like his new video entrance. It's kind of cool. And a little difference on his music entrance. So, Carlito's out here. He's taking on Rey. We get back and forth. Carlito, when he was coming down, he looked behind him because he thought Judgment Day would be there to back him up. But they didn't originally come out. From the crowd, Balor attacks Dragon Lee. He shoots him over the announce table. Rey with the seated senton to Finn. Rey back to the apron. High kick to Carlito. Rey slides through. Waist lock. Elbow from Carlito. Carlito grabs the shoulder of Rey. Drops down. Carlito sits into a pin. Rey wheelbarrow 619 to Carlito. Splash off the top rope. 1 and 2 3. Rey Mysterio wins. This is a 10 minutes, 24-second match. And my buddy, my friend, whoever writes these notes, this guy sucks. How do you make Rey Mysterio look slow as fuck? It's called old age.
Yeah.
And it was Rey fucking carried this match. What's he talking about? It's Carlito. While he's in great shape, Carlito just doesn't do shit for me anymore. He doesn't move. He doesn't really.
But these guys are as old as us. I mean, Carlito and Rey Mysterio are older than us, aren't they?
Particularly for Rey's age, that man made this match. I don't know what this dude's talking about.
I mean, Carlito and Rey were wrestling when we were teenagers, so they got to be like another couple of 10 years, 5 years, somewhere a little bit older than all we are. Right. I mean, they're a little bit older. They're not. Rey Mysterio at 50 ain't gonna move like he was when he was 20. So I don't know what the complaint is.
Rey Mysterio's no spring chicken, so I mean, I don't know what he's complaining about.
I mean, it's the same thing. We get upset when Matt and Jeff get out there and wrestle, and you can see that they're slow and their bodies are beaten.
Rey is still better than Jeff.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Well, Jeff's just done the damage to his body and still tries to go out there. I mean, if anything, Darby Allin needs to go watch Jeff now and realize this is going to be his future if he doesn't change some of who he is. Love Darby Allin, love some of the stuff he does, but at the same time, I would be looking at like a Jeff Hardy and some of these guys who you're trying to emulate and go, yeah, I don't know if I want to be like that.
Speaking of a Darby, did you see the picture of his face this morning?
Oh, yeah.
No.
He's
I haven't.
He's got thumbtack holes all over his face. I mean, he broke that nose again, it looks like. Yeah, he's in pretty bad shape.
Yeah.
And here's the worst part, though, about Jeff. So, to the best of my knowledge, he's never been hit by a bus.
No.
But he's fallen off of plenty of ladders.
Because they introduced that in the storyline.
Well, didn't he fall off?
Something that happened to him anymore.
Didn't he fall off a giant cross in his in Matt Hardy's yard or something at one point?
Something like that,
Or the Hardy Boy emblem or whatever it is. One of those battles, he climbed up the top of that. I think it's when him and Matt were fighting it out, and then got thrown under a boat, and then I think he got lit on fire too at some point. Anywho, I'm sorry. Don't give Rey crap for it. Nobody made Rey look slow. Rey's old. Rey does not move like he used to. You can tell he's not a spring chicken.
No. But he still moves well for what he is, for what he does.
Yes, and
That's why I'm like, okay.
And he's much bigger than he used to be. I mean, he's carrying a little more bulk to him than Rey used to. Go look at Rey when he was like a little kid. He was tiny. Now he's got bulk and meat. I mean, so yeah, he's not going to move the same way. It's the same thing for AJ. Since AJ's come back and gotten bulked up, it's the same thing. AJ is not moving as fast as he used to. It's just not going to happen.
They're putting the muscle on to protect whatever bones they have left that haven't been broken.
Well, that, and they're trying to give them something different to look at because they know they can't do those moves.
Yeah.
They can't be the high flyers like they used to, so now they need to be kind of in that heavyweight, look
Everyone's
muscular,
smarter,
look
not
bigger.
harder.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
Of course, after the match, Ray is upset. He grabs Finn and lays him across the table. Dragon Lee heads up to the top rope to fly, but here comes Damian Priest. Smashes Ray down. Carlito spits Apple into the face of Dragon Lee, making him fall off the top rope. Priest comes into the ring and hits a razor's edge on Ray in the ring. 619 attempt to Priest, but Priest is up and kicks Ray's head off. Goozle south of heaven to Rey Mysterio.
And we see the next general feud right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
There
it's
we go.
interesting where they're going to lead with that. I guess we're going to get Damian Priest and Rey Mysterio somewhere in the midst of all of this. Because we know he's got Drew McIntyre now. We know he's got Gunther at SummerSlam. Is Rey going to be in the middle? Is Rey going to pick up afterwards? How's this all going to play out? It's going to be interesting. And as we move along, we're going to get into the fun of the night. We're going to talk about what got Mr. Miguel Z all hyped up and excited tonight. Because we're going to talk about Alpha Academy. You brought it on yourself, sir. Backstage, Chad Gable's upset with Akira Tozawa. He says it's odd that Akira couldn't make the trip to Saudi Arabia. Don't worry, he's not mad. He's just disappointed. In comes Otis and Maxine. He insults both of them, then says Otis has a chance to redeem himself against Reed tonight. He's going to beat him, right? And Otis says no matter what. Otis and Bronson Reed have a match for what two big boys can do. Otis is sad but doesn't care. He rips his shirt off. Gable gets his attention. Otis turns. Huge kick from Reed. Senton Reed to the top. Hits a tsunami. 1, 2, 3. And just like Mr. Miguel Z would be excited to hear, this person said, big meaty men slapping meat. And you turn your head at
Hold on a second. What?
You turned your
No, I
head
did
at
not.
the right moment. Yes, you did. I finished that sentence and
What?
you were like,
No.
what? We know you like big meaty men slapping meat.
No, I do not like big meaty men
I
slapping.
have it on camera. The minute I finished that last word of saying meat, your head went from being over here to like, huh, what?
I have a headphone in. I can still hear you just
I know
because my
you can-
mic's muted and I'm
Yes,
talking shit.
I know you could hear
I
me.
still
That's
hear
why
you.
your head turned and you got all excited. You're like, bro, I'm ready
Yeah,
to get
because
this
you're sitting here
conversation.
talking shit. No.
Did we know how much you like big meaty men slapping meat? This
I
is
do
one
not
of
like
your
slapping meat, and do I like men slapping
Whoa,
meat? So,
whoa! Who said anything about his?
You're slapping meat, and
Say about
I just hope you don't slap
No!
your. I just hope you don't slap your wiener like you slap your meat.
Oh my!
Ladies and gentlemen, we've gone off the rails here. Just know that Big Time started all this, and I just happen to be the victim at this point.
You started all this in the chat when you wanted to talk about whips and chains and all the fun and games that Alpha Academy has going on. That
I just simply said they like doing it. It seems like redacted booking again.
Because Chad Gable pulled his belt off to be Daddy Gable. I went with like he was being a father figure. You went off into the bedroom like deep in.
He went off into a Rihanna song.
Yes, I know. So when I get into the conversation where you're over here doing something, I go big meaty men slapping meat. You got excited when we talked about the big slappy meat match that Tony Khan was having. You were all excited about big sweaty slappy meaty men beating each other. Do I need to go back to that video where you were like all excited about all the meat slapping? Now let's see what's the what? I know you have an earpiece in when you got your mic muted. You want to run your mouth? Yeah. Okay. Anyway,
I don't want to get us kicked off air. Let's put it that way.
Getting this show back on air. Reed takes his lead, but Gable grabs the mic, calls out Maxine and Akira, and then tells Otis to stand in the ring. We are back from break, and Alpha Academy are in the middle ring. Gable tells Otis tonight it was his opportunity to redeem himself, and he blew it. He lacks discipline, so tonight Gable will show him discipline in front of everyone. He doesn't want to do this. Gable starts to remove his belt and says Otis made him do this. Gable holds his belt up next to Otis and tells Otis to grab the rope. Otis doesn't move. Gable repeats himself. Otis walks over and grabs the ropes. He tells Akira and Maxine to stand there and watch. Otis has brought shame to the Alpha Academy, and this will hurt Chad Gable more than it will hurt Otis. And this is where Daddy Gable came in. This is where Father Gable came in my interpretation. where Mr. Miguel Z went off with it, I don't know if we should repeat these things. Anyways, Gable backs up.
Yeah, don't. Just go on Twitter and look.
Gable backs up and looks to swing, but Maxine stops him. Gable turns to her and asks her if this is too much for her, if she's going to cry and get the hell out of here and go. Maxine runs out. He turns to Gable and asks if he has something to say to Akira Tozawa, but no. So Gable's about to whip Otis. And I think Mr. Miguel Z was getting excited to see the whipping of meat, but unfortunately we didn't get that because Sami Zayn came down the ringside. He comes out and he tries to talk to Maxine. She kind of goes, "Don't talk to me." He comes down. They have a back and forth. Gable still holds his belt and says this is the last chance. Tells Sami not to step in the ring. Sami enters the ring, then asks Gable what he's going to do. Gable is a weak little man. He has manipulated his way into chances for the title, and yet every time he did, he came up short. When he did, he blamed everyone else, all the people, his friends. Sami, this is all his fault, though. He can't get the job done. Gable says he can do it anytime he wants. He's got it done last week and would have done it at Saudi Arabia if it wasn't for Otis. Gable goes to hit Otis. Sami stops him, grabs the belt out of his hand. Otis stands in between Gable and Sami. Sami asks him what he's going to do. How much more will he listen to Gable? He told him last week to stop listening to Gable and start listening to the crowd. The crowd starts chanting the loudest Otis chant we've heard in a long time. Otis looks like he's about to get going and get Otis up. Sami tells Otis to listen to his heart. Gable attacks, mounts right hand, sends Sami in the corner, attacks with punches. Sami fights back and takes down Gable. Otis is unsure what to do. He pulls Sami off the top of Gable. Sami yells at Otis and says this was his chance. German from Gable. He rips off his jacket. Gable stands over Sami with the title, and the crowd chant loudly, "Let's go, Otis!" Sami is laid out. Gable leaves the ring. Akira follows. Otis is hesitant. He looks over at Sami and then to Gable, and then he leaves the ring. So we get a continuation of the story. Decent little match. Great storyline. I guess we're going to get Sami versus Chad Gable in a singles match. What kind of stipulation we're going to get, I don't know. How many more times can Chad Gable be chasing this title and not win it?
Yeah.
This is where you go with.
I don't know if you eventually put the
sometimes
title on Chad, or if you have Otis get his upcomings on behalf of Alpha Academy. It's like there's a couple different ways you can go with this. And
I wonder
now
if
it's
they've
all up
missed
in the
the
air.
moment. If they've missed the moment to put the title on Gable.
I don't think they missed the moment, but I think we're getting to that track. I think we're getting to that point where it is time because there's two things going on here. Sami is so over now. Sami is ready to be in the main event picture. We're looking at Sami kind of like we were looking at Gunther. He's carrying the IC title. It's kind of like, you know what? He's a little too big for the IC title. I think he needs to be chasing that world title at this point. So it may be time to put that Intercontinental title on Chad Gable in this next match. Let Sami go off, and then Sami could come back. I mean, if we're going to get to a point maybe where Gunther wins the world title, why not give us Gunther versus Sami for that world title? Let's run that match back again.
Well, I mean, they did figure out a way to bide some time for Gunther was giving him the King of the Ring. But, you know, now that we're heading into where we need to go, like you said, they need to hurry up and put the belt to him at this point.
Yeah, I think you can drop the belt off of Sami onto Chad Gable. Sami's ready to be in that main event picture. I think it's time for Sami to be in that world title picture. Now, will Sami win the world title and he get betrayed by his friend because his friend wants the title? Could we have a repeat of what happened in NXT?
And that was a good one.
I think
a good one.
I think we're getting very, very close to a Sami world title run here very soon, within the next 2 years. I like it sooner.
I can see that argument.
I like it sooner, but I think we're still a little ways. It won't be this
2
year.
years, that sounds about right.
It won't be this year.
No.
It may be by the later part of next year, maybe into the early 2026, but we will see. But Sami's definitely ready to be thrown into the deep end of this pool. He's definitely on the main event level status. I feel he's bigger than the belt now. Like, I just feel like him and the belt just don't work now. Like, he's just over the belt, and he's carrying the belt, but he's not adding anything to the belt. I think Chad Gable could add some prestigiousness and be the next big heel for the Intercontinental title. I think Sami needs to be chasing the world title.
Well, and just for the fact that when we were talking about the build to WrestleMania 40, that this was kind of filler for Sami. It's like, yes, he was already main event caliber, so having IC titles, like, it gives him something to do, while they're waiting for the main event scene to kind of shuffle around and do what they need to do.
Yeah. I think we're seeing Sammy headed in the right direction for a world title run, like I said, within the next 2 years. I'd like to see it sooner. I'm just giving it 2 years because there's a lot of stuff going on. We know Gunther is going to probably be a world champion. Gunther might be a world champion before this year's up, but we're getting close to that. We know CM Punk plays a huge role probably in this world title picture. I feel CM Punk will be fighting for a world title or a WWE title next year at WrestleMania. I believe that he needs his WrestleMania main event, and I don't think we have much more time for him to get that at the level he needs to be, or the level he would want to be able to perform at.
It just hit me real quick. CM Punk getting a title shot at WrestleMania in Vegas, winning the belt in Vegas, and that's what AEW fans call hollow ground. It'd be a beautiful thing.
It just depends on who he takes it off of. It's going to be interesting. So we'll have to see. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for your main event. It's the steel cage match. And I know a lot of people saw the steel cage came down and said, oh, this is boring. There's no barbed wire on it. Where's the razor wire? I know AEW set the bar so high now that steel cage matches are just so boring. You know, what's a normal, regular steel cage? What's exciting about that, right?
Bring back the blue cage, please.
Oh,
you want to give me a
cage?
Oh, please bring that back.
Are you
a
trying
better
to break
cage.
backs?
It was great.
Anyways, Liv Morgan and Becky Lynch give us a great match. Eventually, both women wound up on top of the cage. They came back down off the cage. Becky Lynch back and forth. You didn't know who was going to win this match. Liv climbs up. Becky's up. Side Russian leg sweep off there. Cover for a 2. Here comes Dominic Mysterio. Both women are down on the mat. He opens the cage and tells Becky to come on out. Out comes Finn and JD to try and yell at Dom about what he's doing. Dom's saying he's trying to fix this. Finn and JD tell him to do what he wants, and then out of nowhere, here comes Braun Strowman. His music hits, so Braun Strowman's still chasing JD McDonough around the arena. He rushes down the ramp and chases Finn and JD around the ring. In the process of this, he hits, somebody hits Dom. Dom flies into the cage door. The cage door smashes into Becky's face, knocking Becky out, allowing Liv to crawl out of the cage door and down to the floor.
Braun hit Dom, and Dom went into the cage. That's what happened.
And allowed Liv Morgan to retain her title. This match went 13 minutes and 5 seconds. It was a good match for what it was. The cluster, trucker, nucker, butter nucker, nutter futter, flip flop, flupper butter stuff at the end. It could definitely take you out of the moment. It could kill it. I get why they needed all these elements. They're trying to continue storylines. They're trying to build to something here. A lot of pieces playing in here, and they want to keep Becky looking strong. So it's very interesting. If it's Becky's last match, you're kind of sad because it's like it's a kind of a way to go down in a blazing, burning ring of fire. But I don't think it's the last we're going to see of Becky. I think we got
a dumpster.
I think we got a big surprise coming. Where whatever they got going on with Becky, she hasn't officially re-signed. Cool. I mean, yes, the big names. I mean, I know Sean Ross Sapp has reported as of today she has not re-signed her contract. Doesn't mean she won't re-sign tomorrow. Well, doesn't mean she won't re-sign on the 1st. Doesn't actually mean she hasn't re-signed, and they're just telling people stuff.
Yeah, we don't know.
Now, a lot of the news and reports and rumors, Becky's upset with WWE for different things of not of taking too long to re-sign women when they were more worried about re-signing the men, and that it's well on the news that Tony Khan's going to offer her a huge, massive contract to the point that she will be the highest paid woman in professional wrestling. Are statements that are coming from the Tony Khan camp if she is allowed, if she becomes a true free agent. What would Becky do for AEW? Probably nothing. I mean, look at what they've done with Mercedes Moné. Money doesn't buy everything. Becky Lynch, Rebecca Knox, Rebecca Quinn, whatever name she maybe go down there, she can show up. I just don't think she's going to have the same oomph down there because they don't really have one strong woman in AEW right now. There is not that face of the women's division. Time with Toni Storm, yes, I know she carries the AEW women's title, and I know a lot of people like her character, but she doesn't really feel like the face of the brand. There's not a strong face of the brand in the women's division. Of course, it's supposed to be Mercedes Moné now, because if you go on Twitter, you can see Mercedes Moné along with Swerve Strickland and Tony Khan celebrating up in the club. with the music piping and a cake being made, and she's still doing it. And Tony Khan trying to get the crowd to chant CEO, CEO. Oh my God, Jesus!
You're trying too hard, man. You're trying too hard.
So, anywho, anything else anybody wants to add to this before we wrap up and shut down the show? Nobody wanted to come and chat tonight, so oh well.
Do we have a preview for tomorrow's rebound?
You know what? I don't even have it on my table right now, but I am in the works of it. All we're going to get is the last 4 nights of Best of Super Juniors right now. We're still leading to the way of the next pay-per-view. But right now, all this talks right now is Evil and Mox. Who's taking the belt at this next pay-per-view?
Sounds like somebody has a long night ahead of them.
I'm always got a long night ahead of me. What else is new?
Punish yourself. Punish yourself. Punish yourself. Anyways, yes, tomorrow will be your New Japan Pro Wrestling Rebound podcast. That'll be up on the air tomorrow morning, so be ready for that. Where Miguel Z will drop down and tell you everything that's going on in the world of New Japan Pro Wrestling, all the goody, dirty details, and get you excited for their big event coming up around June 15th. Are they doing it the same day as WWE? Or is it, huh?
That'll be about like 1 o'clock in the morning, same day as the WWE pay-per-view.
So we got that coming, and then Wednesday somebody will be here to give you a Dynamite post-show review to do all the fallout from the Super Dave stunt show that was called Double or Nothing. I think
what Super Dave? God.
The Super Dave stunt show, whatever that show was, where it was like part cartoon but part live show. Anywho, I don't know. I felt like the money you spend to go to an AEW show like that, you might have had a better time spending that money at at Disneyland, and you could have still seen several glorified stunt shows. But
hell, you would have had a better time at a monster truck show.
There you go. Anyways, then Thursdays this week in Preview Friday, we'll be back with your SmackDown post-show review. Saturday will be... Oh, no, we won't be here. Well, there'll be a review for SmackDown. It won't be the live review.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm just used to saying it, but this week there's other things coming up, so there won't be a live post-show review. Yep. There'll be a post-show review, or there'll be a review show of SmackDown at some point. It's hard to say all that. I'm just used to yabbering this all off. Saturday is now catching up with, which details with Ring of Honor, NXT... NWA
Power,
and TNA. Yep.
TNA Impact.
And then Sunday, we'll be back here at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time with your weekly Rebound podcast. Roundup podcast. Sorry, we'll be here with your weekly Roundup podcast on Sunday at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We're going to break down everything going on in the world of professional wrestling. We'll see if Miguel Z's dream comes true of a match of Saraya and Zack Knight versus Monet is Ospreay. Monet
How
is
dare
Ospreay.
You? Do not put that evil out on me.
And then they can come out to CEO together and do it together. You can see Will Ospreay in full garb doing the whole...
Champions together, huh?
Yes.
No, don't put
the International TBS Championship. Yes. Hey, Tony Khan announced on the scrum that he is interested in having mixed tag team titles. He wants to bring more tag team...
He's interested in a lot of things.
He wants to bring more titles.
Let's leave it at that.
He wants to bring more titles into AEW.
No. No.
And his first one is the mixed tag
I'm
titles.
going to get blocked by Tony one day.
Nobody's ever done that. I don't think anybody can get blocked by Tony. I think he's just totally forgiving and too... I don't know.
He said, wait, did you just say that Tony said that no one has ever did a mixed tag team championship?
He did say that.
Go to Mexico, Tony. Yeah, Mexico has it too.
Yeah.
AAA has it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he said it's something.
Yeah, because Tyler
Valkyrie.
John Morrison. I can't think of his.
And John Morrison have it. Yeah, Johnny Bloodsport. I'll just call him that right now.
All right.
But that's who has it.
Mr. I changed my name did the same time as the man who changes his name.
Yeah.
Every time he changes underwear, it seems like. There we go. That was the point I was getting at. All right.
But yes, Tony, we got you on that one, bud.
And anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. We thank you for tuning in. Make sure you hit that like button. We need all the likes we can get. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. If you're watching this later, drop your comments down below. Help us. We're closer to 500. We're going to get there. We're going to get on to the next step, 1,000. Lots of big things going down. We're excited. Join us every day right here on the channel on the short forums where you can get this date in wrestling history. Lots of great stuff to learn there. And now we're going to go. I'm going to go relax. Mr. Clarke's going to go do what he needs to do. And Mr. Z is going to go back to the bedroom and play with whips and chains, I guess. So. That was so delayed.
Whips and chains, because I like it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for being here. We thank you for tuning in. We'll see you on the next one.